Hey everybody, it's Mark Dahlman here, a Meeting Planner's Best Friend. Welcome to my 11th Facebook Live event. And today I'm really excited because we're going to talk about Las Vegas reopening. Las Vegas is such a huge part of the hospitality industry with huge properties and really affects a major amount of occupancy and room nights for our entire industry. So I'm happy to be able to talk about that and really celebrate today. But first off, obviously, based on the situation that's been happening recently, I want to take a pause because it's been a very, very emotional week. As I told you last week, I'm originally from Minneapolis. I grew up about a mile away from where George Floyd was murdered. And it's been a sad week, but I think it's also been a very uplifting week. And even talking with my wife, I think the great thing is that, you know, when you're looking for change, you look for everybody needs to be involved in that change. And I think when you look at the protests, you look what's going on, you have so many racial, white, Black, Hispanic, Asian people that are out there protesting for equal rights. And it's fantastic to see. And again, I think as we move forward, I think it's positive to see some change. But you know, it's been an exhausting week, I'm sure, for all of you. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate the support that you've given me over the last 11 weeks. And hopefully people that have been able to watch us Facebook Live in the past have gotten some good information and some just honest consultation, because that's what I'm here for. So obviously, I also want to help and obviously thank the hospital workers, the first line responders, people who are still taking care of us. You know, it was funny. I always joke that I was amazed to see what the next news cycle was going to be, but I didn't expect this news cycle to happen. But it's amazing how we got off of the COVID situation so quickly. And suddenly we have gatherings of tens of thousands of people together. And it's been really, it's been awkward. And it's been, you know, when you have the group gathering items that people are all worried about, then we have large groups together. It's been really it's been a crazy week. That's just the best way to put it. So, but thank you to everybody who is still out there working, still out there trying to find a cure. Still working in hospitals, still working on the front lines, still filling the shelves. I think, like a lot of you, it's been great to see toilet paper on the shelves at your local supermarket again. It's been great to kind of see some cleaning products come back. So the people that do that, we really, truly appreciate you. So thank you so much. As I said, we're going to talk about Las Vegas reopening. We're going to have a great a great speaker with us today that not only works for the Las Vegas Convention Visitors Authority, but also has worked in Vegas at some of the properties there. So it's going to be a great time to be able to ask her some questions about Vegas and how things are going there, as they just reopened a bunch of their properties yesterday. So, but let's get started with a state of the industry. As I said, the George Floyd thing has really taken over this week for a lot of people. We had the Tuesday blackout on social media. You see all the different memorials going on. You see all the different protests all around the country. So that has really taken up a lot of people's time and a lot of people's emotions. So obviously we need the world to heal. We need some changes, and hopefully those changes will be made. So obviously the hotel sales hotels and salespeople have started coming back, which has been great. Some hotels have been opening up this week. And actually some of the great news today, 2.5 million jobs were added in the month of May. And half of those were hospitality related, either restaurant or hotel related. So again, it really shows not only how bad the hospitality industry was affected, but how quickly it will also come back as these properties start reopening. So that was great to hear today. And obviously, I know there's a lot of people that are furloughed on unemployment, whatever it may be. So to see some positive news in the jobs numbers on hospitality was a great help today. So the SpaceX program was pretty cool. I'm not sure if you watched that last Saturday, but kind of the whole Tesla cool little space dudes in the rockets taking off this weekend. I thought that was really cool. Again, some positive news with all the negative that was going on. The NBA has basically figured out that they're going to finish up their season, down in the Orlando area. So that's going to be a positive thing. So as we start to get sports back and hotels are opening, I think that's all looking very positive. So a lot of good news amid all of the really bad emotional news that we all went through this week. So, but again, if you have questions that come up, obviously we're doing this live Q&A. Feel free to type them in the comments section, and then those will be posted as we kind of go through this live event, and I'll answer as many questions as possible. But with no further ado, I would actually like to invite Laura Clifford, the Senior Director of Business Sales at the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, the LVCVA. So, Laura, it's great to see you.
Thank you for having me, Mark. It's an exciting time to be here chatting with you.
Well, I tell you what, it's, I've been doing this weekly now for 11 weeks, and the one thing that has really been on my mind this week that was coming up as I was looking for subject matter and things like that, it's like, what do people really want to talk about? And I got to tell you, it's been all over the news, and a lot of people have been excited about it because it not only affects the leisure, but obviously a large part of the group business in the hospitality field is Las Vegas opening. So I was excited to have you on and talk about Las Vegas, be excited about Vegas, and really just kind of, not only that though, you're obviously my first CVB rep also, as far as the Convention Visitors Authority, and talking about not only Vegas itself, but then how the Bureau things have changed. So, but again, thank you so much. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your experience?
Yes, and I just want to say that a couple of days ago, the air just changed. The feel changed, and I started to feel excited again. It's been kind of a tough time, but first I want to thank and recognize HPN as a valued partner. You send a lot of opportunities our way, and you are a very important business channel to our destination.
Yay! That's great.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. I was born and raised here in Las Vegas. Most of us locals go into hospitality, so my first hotel job was actually at 17. But I've been in convention sales for over 15 years, 10 years most recently with Wynn and Encore, and for 5 years before that with the Venetian. And I just joined the LVCVA about a year ago. I really wanted to join the LVCVA to create a bigger impact on my hometown's industry. It's something I'm very personally passionate about. But my team is responsible primarily for generating leads to the city, creating customer development events for our hotel partners, and ensuring we have a strong presence at industry and partner events.
Okay, that's great. And obviously it's Laura and not Laura. So I want to make sure that when people are introducing themselves to you after you become a superstar, after being on the live event, that people can say your name right. So, but it's great having you here. And obviously living in Vegas too, you know how much the casinos and the properties really run the city, right? It's the heartbeat of that entire area. So why don't you just give us a quick update on how things are going, and an update on, because obviously we have a lot of not only meeting planners, but hoteliers that are on this call. So tell people about Vegas, kind of where we're at now, and then kind of how things are opening up as we move along.
Yeah, so I'd like to share with you my personal experience. In our first phase, we began, or in phase 2, we began to reopen in dining inside restaurants. And so I visited a few restaurants now, and the environment in each one of them has felt very purposeful. The workers are all wearing masks. Seating is at least at every other table. I observed frequent washing of chairs and changing linens, and I did feel very safe. I think that's because they were so purposeful about it. I was definitely excited to not have to cook for the first time in a while and actually enjoy being served. But the safety measures did not take away from my experience. And I think that's because the employees and the venues took it seriously, and that helped me feel safe.
Right.
On the hotel side, so here in Las Vegas, the Nevada Gaming Control Board has been in charge of reopening. They have partnered with health officials and local leadership, and the groups have really worked together to create a plan with the intent of mitigating the effects of positive cases of COVID-19. Each hotel is responsible, is required actually to submit a comprehensive plan to them for approval 7 days prior to opening. And at this point, many hotels have posted their safety policies online. They're very detailed. And all of that is on our visitlasvegas.com website. If you click on Vegas Smart, we just recently launched that, and it kind of goes into what we're doing as a destination to promote a safe environment. The venues are doing their part from what I have seen, and at some point it's up to individuals. Like you said earlier, to create change, everyone needs to be involved, and we hope that they do be very active in their safe practices. Right.
And just so a lot of people realize, not all of the hotels are open in Vegas right now. I mean, obviously, Bellagio opened, Cosmo opened, MGM opened. But I believe I read that Aria is going to be a little while, and there's some other properties. And again, I think especially with like MGM, they're kind of staging. They're opening up a couple of the properties, and then as business kind of fills in, they're opening up some of the other properties. But they're not. Vegas isn't 100% open, but a lot of the large properties have opened up in the city there.
That's correct.
Perfect. So I know you said that obviously you're from Vegas, you grew up there. So I know you said that this is kind of like a breath of fresh air. I've heard a lot of hotel people out there talk like they're opening up a brand new hotel again, right? And that's, I think, the way that a lot of hoteliers feel is that when you have to shut down, I think you guys were shut down for 78 days. When you have to reopen, it's not like, you just flick on the lights and, open up the doors. I mean, it's kind of like turning around an aircraft carrier. There's a lot that goes into opening properties of this size. So tell me, kind of emotionally how you're feeling now that everything's beginning to open again, as a resident of Vegas there. And obviously as a person that works for the Bureau.
Yes, very, very positive and hopeful. I feel like everyone on this call wants meetings and events to happen. We have a passion for the travel industry. And so to see it start to come back, it will be done slowly and it will be done safely, and we'll have to be patient and we'll have to learn along the way. But it's very exciting, and it just kind of, the feeling makes me feel more confident that live in-person meetings are not going away. We need that human connection, and we need the excitement of travel, and it's part of, I think it's in our DNA.
Right, absolutely. Especially for us hoteliers, right, and salespeople. It's just, if we're not traveling like once a month or every other month, it's just, you feel weird, like being home that long because of all the travel that we do. So, a lot of people are just interested, obviously, on the group side of business, right? They're worried about the convention center. They're worried about groups. When can I bring a group to Vegas? When are things going to be open? So when do you have your first group there at the Las Vegas Convention Center, or when approximately?
So the first scheduled group is ASD, which is a business-to-business retail merchandise wholesaler show, and they're scheduled for August 2nd to the 5th. Historically, they've been at 44,000 attendees. And the National Hardware Show, which is scheduled for September 1st to the 3rd, has historically brought 37,000 attendees. Both groups could end up being smaller, but this is what's currently planned. And we run the Las Vegas Convention Center, so we're working with them to accommodate whatever their needs are. Right.
Well, that's great. I think as we've talked with a lot of planners, we're just getting into June here. Hotels are just starting to open up. A lot of the different properties are starting to kind of feel their way through these new sanitation guidelines, all those type of things. And as we kind of get through July, like you said, with some of the big groups now coming into August, I think that's when we're going to start seeing a lot of larger groups into properties and start actualizing and things like that. And I think that's when we can start really sharing some great information and great ideas of what these groups are doing, right? And the technology that they're bringing in, how they're working the breakouts and the general sessions and the exhibits and all that kind of stuff. So I think as that starts to happen, it's gonna be a great time to really take a look at all of that. So So another question that comes up a lot from planners right now is airlift. Obviously, Vegas has always been a huge international airport and has expanded within the last couple of years. But how do you kind of sell airlift to a lot of the planners that are coming to Vegas or want to plan a group in Vegas coming up in the next 6 to 12 months?
So we're different than a lot of other CVBs in that we run our airline development program for McCarran. And the airline service development team has developed a new back to business sales connector program, which is designed to introduce planners directly to airline sales contacts and help generate ticket sales for hosted buyer programs, group discounts, chartered flights. And they are happy to facilitate introductions for larger and specialized pieces of business. We do expect that there will be further flight reductions in July and August. Airlines are looking a little bit towards October through December based on demand and confidence in the destination. But a piece of really good news, Southwest Airlines handles 30% of our lift to the city, and they're currently scheduled to be up 268 flights in November, which is up 5% year over year, and 529 flights in December, which is up about 10% year over year.
Wow. Okay. So that's great news. That is.
Very.
Because obviously, like you said, Southwest is a big provider into the Vegas area there. So that's fantastic. And obviously, the other thing that a lot of people may not realize is all the new projects going on. I mean, we may be in a hotel recession, right? And we may, we're just opening up properties, but there's a lot of properties that are under construction there and new projects that are coming on board there in Vegas. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about all the exciting new things that are coming into Vegas in the next couple of years?
Yes. So there's four projects I want to talk about that I have recent updates on. The first one is the Allegiant Stadium. Many of you have heard that the Raiders are moving to Las Vegas. Yes, it's a $2 billion project, and it's on schedule to be complete July 31st of this year. The venue will have 65,000 seats and private spaces to rent, and the first game is scheduled for August 27th. As a Las Vegas native, I will be a Raiders fan, but I took a hard hat tour a few months ago, and the facility is just stunning. It's very beautiful.
Nice.
The Resorts World is actually the Strip's first integrated resort to be built in over 10 years. It will have 3,500 guest rooms, 350,000 square feet of meeting space, which includes a 100,000 square foot pillarless event center. It'll have a 5,000 seat theater that's rentable to groups. It is on schedule to open summer of 21, and that's a $4.3 billion project.
And that's right down by the Stratosphere, right?
It's actually closer to Encore and where the Drew. It's kind of between the Encore and the Drew.
Kitty corner. Yeah, kind of kitty corner from the Wynn and Encore there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Another project that people may not have heard as much on due to its downtown location is the Circa Resort and Casino. I want to talk a little bit about downtown. I've really seen the area evolve over the years. It's very much become a local spot, and especially the East Fremont area. There's lots of unique local restaurants that are all within walking distance. And for those who want to see some Vegas history and some local flavor, you will find it there. But the Circa project is a new build. It just topped off. It will have over 700 guest rooms, and it'll have meeting space, the world's largest sportsbook screen, a rooftop amphitheater. So make sure to check out downtown the next time you're in town.
Absolutely.
And the last project I have to touch on is the West Hall expansion of our Las Vegas Convention Center. It is about 84% complete. The expansion is going to include a 600,000 square foot exhibit hall, and it is on schedule to be complete December of this year, just in time for CES. And the Boring Company.
January, right? They're coming back in January, CES?
They are. We're very excited. We're very appreciative.
Fantastic.
And the Boring Company is very much on track. That is our underground tunnel transportation system, the first of its kind anywhere, and it will help move people throughout the facility, which will be quite massive when it's done.
Right, right. Wow. Still a lot going on. That's why Vegas is such an important part of our industry. So, getting to the CVB side. So obviously you came from the hotel side. You worked in hotel sales for quite a while at Venetian and over at Wynn, and now you're with the Bureau. So tell us a little bit about the differences, obviously, because there's a lot of hotel salespeople that get into the Bureau because obviously a lot of them, you know, they live there or they grew up there. So like you said, you want to kind of support your city. So tell us a little bit about that and how that transition has been for you.
Yeah, the transition has really been twofold. Our CVA is actually a government entity, so it is we're not contracted by the government. We are government employees. So
Right.
there was learning that side of it, and then there was, of course, learning the CVB side of it. I expected the similarities to outweigh the differences, and I'm not sure that's what ended up happening. But to be able to be part of a more marketing-heavy organization has really added a whole new world of tools in my toolbox. So it's been very invigorating. And that's what I wanted at that point in my career. I wanted to have a bigger impact and to learn and grow more as a professional.
Okay, that's great. And obviously, as all these huge properties are reopening, you're going through all of these new COVID sanitation guidelines and all this, and everybody's asking all these different questions of you. What have you been able to provide to your hotel partners to help them reopen? How have you kind of been involved in that process as, you know, kind of yesterday and all these future dates come along when these properties open? How have you kind of been involved in that, or what has the LV CVA been doing to support that?
So on my side of the business, we've been really focused on getting planners connected with hotel salespeople. There was a period of time, I think, where customers had a hard time getting a hold of them. They weren't sure if there were furloughs or how to reach people from home. We've also been working to get safety information from hotels to customers. Sometimes wading through everything is a little bit challenging. And there are over 300 hotels in our destination, so that's a heavy lift in and of itself. But really, we just want to make sure that everyone knows we're still here for them. And now that there's more news to share with our opening, we're going to do a series of regional webinars for planners and hotel partners to talk about the reopening of the city and give the hotel partners a chance to shine and show their passion for their hotels.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I can tell you from all the Las Vegas hotel salespeople and national salespeople out in Vegas that I know, it has been a social media firestorm of how passionate they are that their hotels are open again, and having people walk through the doors again and sitting at the slot machines and all that kind of stuff. So I know it's been very exciting for all the hotels and hotel people there in Vegas. So you're talking a little bit about some of the things you're going to do, but obviously, you know, in this new COVID world and in this new sales world, how is your transition as far as trade shows, exhibits, when you're going to see clients, you know, because obviously, like we were talking about, there's a lot of travel with our business, and especially you with the CVA, you guys are out and seeing clients and going out to different trade shows and things like that. How is that changing, or what changes have been made so far with your travel schedule and your exhibits and things that you guys are involved in?
Yes, so as an organization, we are funded by occupancy tax, which is our guest room revenue tax. So we've had to revisit all of our spending, including travel. But getting in front of customers is at the core of what we do, and it will continue to be a central part of our sales strategy. When it comes to the industry events that are turning virtual, we're really looking at how we can best add value. And I think for a while, our focus is going to be educational content while we're all learning these new waters.
Right, exactly. Okay. Well, how about obviously IMEX Vegas in September is obviously a huge show that a lot of hospitality people go to. Do you have any updates on that at all? That just came to my mind just now. But any updates on IMEX Vegas for later this fall that you've heard about?
I don't have any. No, we are in conversations with them on the size of our floor space, but I don't have any updates on that.
Okay, and not a problem. I know that's that's one of the larger shows that a lot of hotel associates and everything go to. That's obviously in Vegas and has been the last couple of years. So it's obviously a fantastic show. So hopefully we can still make that happen. So I guess one last thing for you then is, what do you recommend to planners and hotel salespeople moving forward? You know, not just obviously selling Vegas and things like that, but obviously you were in hotel sales. Now you're on the bureau side. What do you recommend to people as they're going through these new times and the RFP process and the sites and dealing with all these different emotions? You know, a lot of different things I've talked about with hotel salespeople is that these RFPs now are so much more emotional from meeting planners because they care about their group so much more. The safety is so much more important. The trust is so much more important. And it's just, it's not the dates, rates, and space anymore. So what do you recommend to planners and hotel salespeople and friends of yours as we navigate this new world? What would be some recommendations from you?
So to meeting planners, I would say, I think it's pretty safe to say that we all want travel and events to resume safely, of course.
Right.
And I understand that many times there's an internal sell to overcome when trying to get leadership support for events and business travel to resume. So I would ask that you partner with hotels and CVBs and let us be your allies in working through some of these questions. We don't have all the answers yet, but we have to start venturing out at some point, and somewhere out there is the first group to operate. So I ask also that you share with us the industry, your best practices. So as an industry, we can learn together and become stronger.
Yes. I tell you what, and we've talked about that for a couple of weeks, is how we need to share that information as these groups, like when you're having your first citywide convention in August at the convention center, what they do with that group and how the group operates and new techniques and technology, sharing that information with other groups and other cities and other bureaus are going to be so important in this time. So, yeah.
My hope is to do a series of case studies, whether or not it's in our building or some of our hotel partners' buildings, to do just that.
Okay, perfect.
And to hotel salespeople, I've always worked under the philosophy that it's important to be transparent with customers, even more so now, because only with those real, honest conversations can we resolve challenges and grow together. And as salespeople, we run on optimism and positivity, and there's days where it's tough to be positive. There are. So I would say be really forgiving of yourself for the days that you're not at your best, and we need that kind of self-care in order to be resilient, and we need resiliency to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think, like you said, it's just, we have to really take care of each other more, right? It's not dates, rates, and space anymore. It really is, find out what the planners need, find out what's important in the RFP, really be honest and upfront and trustworthy. It's so important, even more so now. So perfect.
Agreed.
Well, hey, I wanted to thank you for being on, Laura. It's been great talking to you, and we want to see if there's any questions that come up from the audience here, that there's any questions about Vegas or anything for our CVA friend here, Laura. That would be great. Patrick, thank you very much. Great discussion. Yeah, you know what? This has been the first discussion with a CVB/CVA rep, and I thought it was really important to also discuss their side of things, especially with Vegas opening, has kind of worked out to be a double whammy, which has been fantastic. So thank you very much. No, it's been great getting some information about Vegas. So any other questions out there at all for Vegas or anything else for our friend here? Anything? Okay. Well, hey, Laura, I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate your time. I know you're really busy. I thought it was really important to really celebrate Las Vegas, celebrate all the openings, and celebrate what you guys are doing. And as a Vegas resident, it must be really heartwarming to see all these people back to work. So thanks so much for being with us this week. I truly appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate you being here. So
absolutely.
Perfect. Well, that was great. As I said, I not only wanted to celebrate Vegas this week, but also wanted to talk with CVB rep and really kind of see how they're operating. And it really sounds like, obviously, what they're trying to do is not only support their hotels, but then also really help the hotels help sell for the planners and to their leadership and things like that. So obviously, and again, there's the thing that a lot of people don't realize about Vegas is not only are these properties opening up, but there's so many new properties and new projects opening up out in Vegas with the Las Vegas Raiders stadium opening up in August and having their first football game there. With Resorts World opening up, that's another huge monster that's opening up next year. So a lot going on in Vegas. So yeah, but that was great. Really appreciate her being on. So any other questions on anything, whether it's contractual, anything about the COVID crisis, contracts, indemnification, force majeure, anything like that? If you have anything, just type it in the comments section there. Be more than happy to kind of answer those questions as we keep going on here. Kelly, thanks for, SAV. Well, thank you very much. It's nice to have you here. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we've been doing this for, 11 weeks now. It's been crazy, but I think it's been some great information. I've gotten tons of calls and emails from people that have been really thankful about the information and videos that we've been able to put together and information we've been able to provide. So, but a couple things like we were talking about on the call, especially for your hotel salespeople. Again, I want to just reiterate these three words: trust, honesty, and safety. Those three words are resonating with planners nowadays. So you got to be trustworthy. You got to tell the truth. You don't do the used car salesman stuff on like, hey, we'll make that fit. Hey, yeah, we'll do 2 per 6, 1 per 6, whatever. Yeah, your ballroom will be fine. Don't do that. The safety part of thing. Again, these planners, these RFPs are so much more emotional now because they have to not only take care of the group when they're on site, but they have to take care of their safety and their health. So those things are so important. So when you're getting these RFPs from, whether it's from HPN Global or whether it's from other meeting planners, whatever it may be, make sure that you're making that emotional connection. Make sure that you care. Make sure you show empathy. Those things are important. Obviously, us here at HPN Global, we just had a call earlier with our leadership that's been happening every 2 weeks, where we're talking to hotel leaders. We're talking to different planners around the country. So we're trying to really lead this generation into really being informed and showing people the seniority that we have and how much we care about this industry and wanting to share this information with all of you. So I think that's been great. Regarding contracts, again, I know we've talked about this before, but I want to bring it up one more time. We're kind of getting out of the force majeure part of this. Now, the one thing that is coming up is the group restrictions, such as what they have in San Diego and a couple other states. The other thing I've been talking to a lot of planners about is that you may see destinations change for your RFPs based on states that are open. For example, us here in Scottsdale, where I'm at right now, we've been open here for a couple of weeks, and properties have been open, restaurants have been open, bars have been open, and it gives a lot of flexibility to a lot of groups. So you don't have to worry about the gathering bans and things like that. Also in Texas, down in Florida. So I think looking at the destination part of it is also going to be an important part based on the restrictions of like the state and city gathering bans. So those are going to be important things to take a look at moving forward. But obviously we're getting out of the force majeure. The gathering bans are still there in certain areas. Indemnification is really coming up right now. I actually put together a separate, actually I should say our HPN Global legal team kind of put together a separate COVID indemnification clause that we've included in all of our master hotel contracts moving forward. And then I think the other thing that's going to be important to take a look at once groups start actualizing again is your lowest group rate clause. Because once hotels open up, you're going to realize that a lot of these hotels are going to be empty because they're not going to have the business travel, leisure travel that they've had in the past. They're going to start filling it up with internet rated rooms and things like that. So it's important to keep track of those rates and make sure that people aren't going around your room block, because I think that's going to be important moving forward. So, but let's see, any other questions or anything else coming in at all that I can answer for anybody right now? Anything? Okay. If you have anything, put it in the comments section there of this Facebook Live event. Be more than happy to answer the questions as they come in. And obviously, as you can see, just email me at mdahlman@hpnglobal.com at any time if you have any future questions. Maybe if you're watching this at a later time and need some questions answered, I'd be more than happy to help you out. So, but again, just a quick recap on some of the additional items. Obviously, the thing that I've promoted on this Facebook Live for the last 11 weeks, if you have a hotel contract, you don't know what to do, you don't know if it's force majeure, you don't know if you can cancel or what your options are, email your contract over to me, let me take a look at it, and I'll give you some honest consultation and give you some options on that. And I'll do that for free. Even if I didn't book the contract, it's not a problem. I'm here to help. So feel free to do that at any time. Our state and city gathering ban list, we update that on a daily basis. Again, it's a very, very important document to keep track of right now, knowing what cities are open, what states restrictions are out there, group guidelines, things like that. If you need that, let me know. Our virtual meetings info, obviously we have a full meeting services team here with HPN Global, and we can help give some information to you, give you some pricing and some quotes. If you want to start taking some of your future meetings or portions of your meetings virtual, I'd be more than happy to assist with that and give you some pricing on that. Our coronavirus contingency plan was actually put together by Emergency Concierge International. A good friend of mine, John Whitney, we had him on a couple weeks ago and talked about that. It's a great document to kind of walk you through kind of a checklist of what you need to do, not only on the COVID side, but on the emergency side with all of this going on. So, one other thing I think we talked about a couple weeks ago is the Allseated.com. We actually have a new agreement with Allseated that they will basically help assist either our meeting planner friends or our hotel friends in basically putting together a physical distancing tool for your space, whether it's ballroom space, breakout space. They have the tools to really help lay that out for you. So if you need some information or contacts at Allseated, please let me know. We can also assist with that. We're new partners with them, and that information is obviously great and very obviously needed in this time. And then one other thing is the Connect Safe sheet or Connect Safe space sheet. So Connect is having their meeting in August. I think you're kind of seeing a trend here with a lot of the bigger meetings per se are happening in August. And then I think as we get through August and September, everything's going to start ramping up with even more and more. But they put together kind of a contingent or a safe space sheet that they sent out there to their attendees about what they're doing regarding exhibit space, regarding PPE information, regarding the exhibit floor, all these different things. And again, I think the one thing you'll realize for those planners out there, as your groups and as you're planning your future groups, you're going to have to put together kind of a little information sheet, basically, letting these attendees know what you're doing, how you're doing it, what the hotel's offering, how the hotel has their sanitation guidelines, how a convention center has their sanitation guidelines. So that information is going to be really important for you to share. So I've got a couple options on there for you. And the other item is, we've kind of come up, I think we're right in this indemnification location right now, and we're starting to see some groups that are having attendees sign waivers ahead of time so that they can't sue the group or corporation or association if they get sick during the conference or during the meeting. So we've seen some of those sheets come out and that information coming out. So that's another thing. If you need some help on that, we can share some ideas with you. But again, that's something to take a look at, the indemnification part of things as we start to kind of occupy some of these hotels and start to have some of these groups actualized. So, but anyway, so that's about all I got for today. So any other questions coming in at all or anything else from anybody right now? Anybody? Okay. Well, hey, thank you so much for being here. Again, it's been a real emotional week, and it's been an emotional week for me. I know it's been an emotional week for a lot of my hotel and sales friends around the country. But once again, stay safe, take care of each other, and we'll see you next Friday. All right. Everybody have a great weekend.